What's going on, everybody? I'm Will Charlton. Welcome to another edition of Noteworthy in the NCAA, where we talk about the latest happenings going on in the college sports landscape here on the ETB network. Thank you for tuning in on this Monday afternoon, evening, wherever it may be that you are watching tonight. Make sure to follow us across all social media at ETB Network. That's on TikTok, Instagram, X, whatever it may be. You can follow our show, Forever Power 5, at FP5ETV, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever it may be. And you can follow me on X at Will Charlton H13. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Will Charlton TV. And make sure to stay up to date with all our NCAA shows at youtube.com/ETB Network. So let's get started off today talking about some of the mayhem going on in the NCAA football transfer portal. There was a point where there was, if I'm not mistaken, 4,500 players in the transfer portal, and that is just a ludicrous number. I mean, a season ends, and then all of a sudden, boom, all sorts of players are just in the transfer portal and making moves. And I mean, this has become the Wild West. I mean, this has seriously become just an insane thing, because there's no regulations behind, how it used to be is if like you wanted to transfer as a grad student, or you wanted to transfer, you had to sit out a year, and then you had to be eligible to even play in that program. Now it's like, go where the money is. You can get poached to go to a team. And I mean, if you don't like a program, then all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to go somewhere else. And it's insane, like how much college sports has changed because of this. It's the whole NIL era and the whole era of this transfer portal now has just made things so wild. And it's going to be, obviously it's far from finished. It's far from finished. We've had a handful of moves already happen, even today. Most noteworthy being Dylan Raiola heading off to Oregon, transferring from Nebraska. We're still waiting to hear on what Dante Moore's future looks like at Oregon, but Dylan Raiola has committed to Oregon. So my thoughts are they're kind of banking on Dante Moore going to the NFL draft. He is a top quarterback prospect, so I wouldn't be shocked if he just does decide to go that route. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Oregon's banking on the fact that it's got their quarterback for next year in Dylan Raiola now. But Dante Moore still has not decided if he's going to the pros or not, but I think this decision might make it a little easier for him. So that's a big one that literally just happened. Cam Coleman, one of the top receivers in the transfer portal, committed to Texas the other day after being at Auburn. And there's been a handful of one of the funnier things that a handful of Iowa State players are following Matt Campbell to Penn State now. Rocco Becht being the headliner of that, the quarterback of Iowa State, now going to Penn State to join Matt Campbell. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was 9 players who went from Iowa State to Penn State now to follow Matt Campbell. So there's just all sorts of craziness going on in the transfer portal right now. Let's see, what are some other big ones that On3 was reporting today or just lately? DJ Lagway, it looks like he's going to be he's leaning toward Ole Miss. I'm not sure if he actually has committed there or not yet. I don't think he has, but DJ Lagway from Florida, it looks like he's leaning Ole Miss right now. Another big one that recently happened was Sam Leavitt, the old quarterback of Arizona State, now heading to go play with Lane Kiffin at LSU. That literally just happened today. NC State receiver Noah Rogers going to Alabama. Former 5-star freshman wide receiver Quincy Porter, who was at Ohio State, is now going to Notre Dame. Let's see. I mean, if you want to take a look at yourself, just go to On3's page. It's kind of nuts how much stuff they're reporting right now. There's so much craziness going on right now. Let's see. There's got to be another. Oh yeah, Penn State transfer edge Chaz Coleman going to Tennessee. That's a big addition for Tennessee, and Josh Heupel. He was the number 3 overall prospect in the portal. yeah, there's just an insane amount of stuff going on right now. Tennessee's expected to host Bo Perbula, who's transferring yet again after a year at Missouri. He spent his first year at Penn State, or his first tenure at Penn State, I should say. And then also with this whole kind of deal, they are allowing players to play in college for a lot longer than they should. Like Carson Beck, for example, his 7th year of college football. That's just insane to me that he's playing. Is it 6th or 7th? It's one of the two, but still, that we're even talking about that. It goes to show like how crazy this landscape is. Like guys who are 23, 24, 25 years old are still playing college football. I mean, that's like if I was still playing college football. I'm 23 right now, so I could still technically be eligible if that's what they're saying. And then on the topic of that, Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback of Ole Miss, tried to get a 6th year of eligibility, but he was denied by the NCAA. And what's kind of weird about that is if you're familiar with the name TJ Finley, he is going to be playing college football for a 7th year coming up. And I believe he's transferring to his 6th school now. 6th. It's just, it's mind-boggling how this works. And like the eligibility. I seriously don't know how it works, because you're telling me that a player can, like, oh, I was injured 1 year, so I want to play. I want to use that year of eligibility. Oh, I was in college during COVID. I still get the COVID year. Like it's the Wild West. Like I said, it's the Wild West. Justice Haynes, a big, a great running back at Michigan. He's looking like it's going to go to Georgia Tech because they're offering him a lot of money. Let's see. And there's just a bunch of other stuff. Also, the Damon Williams deal. So Damon Williams, he got signed to stay at Washington. Then he tried to get out of it to enter the transfer portal. And then he backtracks and is staying at Washington. It's just, there's so much crazy stuff that goes with this. And I can't even like fathom what goes on behind the scenes with these players. It's just, it's unbelievable that it's unbelievable that I was wrong. So DJ Lagway committed to Baylor. I just saw that. Okay, so DJ Lagway committed to Baylor. There you go. But that's interesting because On3 said that he's visiting Ole Miss or something like that lately. Or did I just read that wrong? I might have just read that wrong. No, yeah. So the next day, they said that he's visiting Ole Miss after committing to Baylor. That is so weird. Okay. So yes. So Hayes Fawcett, one of the guys who like really kind of follows the transfer portal closely. DJ Lagway said everything has been hectic. I don't know where people are getting stuff at the beginning, but yes, I am committed to Baylor. So DJ Lagway is committed to Baylor. I just had to scroll past a little further than that, but yeah, there's all sorts of craziness going on in the transfer portal right now. And I only expect it to keep getting crazier and crazier as I believe the window for the offseason closes in like a week and a half, something like that. I can't remember how long exactly it's open for, but it's not an insane amount of time. It's really not. So everything happens so quick. And we still have a game to play. There's still one more game left in the college football season. Like if you're Miami and Indiana, how are you able to balance like preparing for the national championship? And then I guess this even goes back to the semifinals with Ole Miss and Oregon too. Just like, how are you able to kind of balance like, oh, I got to keep an eye on the portal, but I got to get my team ready for a game. I don't know how you're supposed to balance that as a head coach. But yeah, especially now with Miami and Indiana who still have to play the national championship a week from today. I can't even fathom like how they're trying to balance that, because your main objective is winning a national championship, but you also got to keep in mind that you're trying to get guys to commit to your school for next year. This timeline is just, it's so messed up. There's so many flaws behind college football's timelines. It's mind-boggling how dumb this calendar is. Like, how does this not happen throughout the offseason? I know there's another transfer portal window that opens up in the spring, but to have this going on right now, and I know I've talked about this on the show before, but to have this going on right now is just, it is so hard to wrap your mind around, because obviously, like most program seasons are done before the new year begins. I get that. But even then, like, the coaching window opens on December 1st, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, there's so much hectic stuff that goes on with this. I don't understand it at all. And we'll just have to keep an eye on and see like how things keep progressing as we get closer to the closing of this initial offseason window before the spring opens back up. But speaking of the college football playoff, I won't get into this too much because we'll break it down more on Forever Power 5 this week. But obviously, Miami gets the job done against Ole Miss in a thriller of a game. But very controversial ending. A lot of people saying that on that final Hail Mary, there should have been a pass interference called. I tend to agree with that after seeing the replay over and over again. Louis Riddick from ESPN had a phenomenal explanation of it, and he was baffled there wasn't a flag thrown, because if you look at it, the cornerback of Miami was like tugging on the Ole Miss receiver's shirt or jersey, and doesn't even have a chance to really go up and make a play on the ball. He's more so, the cornerback of Miami is more so kind of like inhibiting the Ole Miss receiver from trying to make a play in the ball rather than trying to make a play in the ball himself. So obviously there's such a slim chance that no matter what the situation is, there's going to be a pass interference call in a Hail Mary. But in that situation, it's tough to not see a flag thrown there. And look, like, at the end of the day, Ole Miss would have had an untimed down from the 20. They still would have needed to score a touchdown because they were down 4. It was 31-27. That was the final score. They still would have had to go to score a touchdown from the 20-yard line. Is that likely? Not really, but you at least get a second chance, right? And yeah, just kind of mind-boggling because the whole Ole Miss sideline was complaining about it, and yeah, it was a hectic finish. I couldn't believe that. In real time, I was shocked. I wasn't shocked there wasn't a flag thrown, but after seeing it over and over again, seeing the replays and seeing Louis Riddick say what he said, it is actually kind of shocking there wasn't a flag thrown. But yeah, Miami, it's been a phenomenal run for the Hurricanes. Mario Cristobal, big shout out to Miami. They're catching their stride at the right time. They have proven they belong in this playoff for sure. They got a road win at Texas A&M, which is a very, very hard place to play no matter what the circumstances. They beat Ohio State, who hadn't lost a game until the Big Ten Championship, and kind of manhandled them, to be honest, 24-14. And then they followed it up with a win against an Ole Miss team who was really hot too. So, yeah, Miami is definitely going to be, I think, pound for pound, the toughest team Indiana has seen this year to this point. But man, Kurt Cignetti has that Indiana team just on an absolute tear right now. What they're doing in this playoff is unbelievable. Beat Alabama 38-3, and then follow that up with an absolute throttling of Oregon, a team who they obviously beat in the regular season, 34-24 in Eugene. They go in, and they're up 35-7. They go into halftime up 35-7. I'm pretty sure that was the halftime score. Yes, 35-7 at halftime. Oregon tied the game up after the pick six on the first play of the game for Indiana. They go down, score a touchdown. Oregon's feeling a little bit more comfortable. All of a sudden, Indiana goes into halftime up 35-7. And Dante Moore played a pretty bad game, too. I mean, he didn't look comfortable. The Indiana pass rush was all over him in the backfield. Indiana, I mean, this is seriously just one of the craziest turnaround stories of all time in college football. We're sitting here right now, 2 years ago, Indiana was like the most irrelevant program in the country at the FBS level. They haven't done anything. Like, Indiana has one of the worst records win-loss in FBS history. And all of a sudden, they're sitting at 15-0, and they're a 7.5-point favorite in next week's national championship game against Miami. This story for Indiana has just been remarkable. I mean, what is it now? They're 26-2 in the 2 years under Signetti. 26-2. I mean, like, look, Miami's definitely the toughest team they've played. They're hot themselves right now. I just don't see a way in this which this Indiana team loses. I mean, this Indiana team is playing with the most confidence possible. Fernando Mendoza has some of the biggest moxie of a quarterback in college football. The reason that he won the Heisman. He is making the right decisions. He can run the ball. Indiana's got insane weapons. I mean, Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, two phenomenal receivers. Roman Hemby and I'm blanking out his name, but Black, the running back too. Hemby and Black, the two-headed monster in the backfield. Those guys are doing phenomenal for Indiana. This Hoosier team is a force to be reckoned with right now. And I'll tell you what, it's just, like I said, we'll break it down more in Forever Power 5 this week. But it is unbelievable what this Hoosier team is doing. And I mean, I'd love to see Miami give them a game because I'd love to see an entertaining national championship game. But man, this Hoosier team is a force to be reckoned with, like I said. And I don't know if I see it. I mean, Indiana is playing on a different level right now. And to see Indiana football be this good is just, it's still hard to wrap my mind around it. It's going to be so hard seeing a gold logo for the national championship with Indiana on it. It's gonna be so weird to see that. But hey, I mean, just incredible turnaround that Kirstie Knighty's brought to this program. And man, he's a damn good football coach. But speaking of national championships, the FCS National Championship, I really hope all of you guys watching this right now watched this game last Monday night. 35-34 overtime victory for Montana State over Illinois State. Unbelievable game. I mean, just like Montana State was number 2 in the country in the FCS, right? So they had won, I believe, 12, was it 13 straight games? I think it was 13 straight games going in. Yeah, that sounds right. 13 straight games, so they played 16. Yeah, so they finished 14-2. So Montana State had won 13 straight games going into this national championship game. Illinois State was the first team ever in the FCS to win 4 true road games on their way to the national championship. Illinois State took down Southeastern Louisiana on the road, 21-3. They beat North Dakota State, the number 1 team in the country at the FCS level, who was undefeated going into the game, 29-28. Then they go into UC Davis. They win that game by double figures, and they do the same against Villanova on the road. So Illinois State was coming in as one of the hottest teams, without a doubt, in the FCS. Montana State gets up 14-zip. They score on their first 2 drives. Illinois State answers, right, like late in the second half. And then Montana State retakes all the momentum heading into halftime. They score 3 plays in 30 seconds. They go 3 plays in 30 seconds, 75 yards down the field, to take a 21-7 lead into the halftime break. So Montana State's feeling great, right? Montana State's feeling great. Dane Steele, their true freshman wide receiver, made a phenomenal play that scored them a touchdown right before halftime. And Justin Lamson had 2 rushing touchdowns, the quarterback from Montana State. But I will tell you what. I mean, this Illinois State team, led by their quarterback Rittenhouse, I mean, they clawed back. They fought back. It was 28-14 a point in the game. They tied it. They tied the game. They had a chance to win the game on a field goal. Like, they had a chance to have a game-winning field goal. Essentially, like there was still a little bit of time left that Montana State would have got the ball back, but I believe at this time there was between 30 seconds to a minute left. The kick gets blocked. Illinois State's kick gets blocked. And Montana State gets the ball back at like the Illinois State 45, or the Montana State 45. And then they have to punt. So overtime. Illinois State starts with the ball. They score on, I believe it was the first play. I think it was the first play of overtime they scored. And it was either the first or second, but yeah. So they scored like right off the bat in overtime. The extra point gets blocked. Montana State blocked 2 kicks in a row down the stretch. They blocked the game-winning field goal attempt, and they blocked the extra point in overtime. And then on a 4th and 10, Montana State quarterback Justin Lamson is under a lot of pressure, and he chucks it up to his guy, Taco Dowler. Yes, Taco. That's not his real name, but it's his nickname. Taco Dowler, one of the best receivers in the FCS, makes the touchdown grab. They make the extra point. Montana State wins an absolute thriller, 35-34 for their first championship since 1984. So big congratulations to the Montana State Bobcats. That was one hell of a game. Like I said, I really hope all of you guys watched it. That was just an incredible football game. I mean, just back and forth. You could feel it, like both sides in a neutral field in Nashville. Both sides packed the stadium. Great, it looked like. Yeah, that was just an unreal game. So big shout out to the Montana State Bobcats and what they're able to do. What they're able to do in the FCS National Championship. So let's switch things over to the men's college basketball new AP poll that just came out today. Going to get this out here right now. Let me pull it up so I have it up. Yes, so here we go. Arizona now the new number 1 in the country after Michigan dropped what was a hell of a basketball game against Wisconsin. Wisconsin won that game 91-88. Was that the final score? 91-88. It was just an unreal game. Let me make sure I got that right. Yep, 91-88. Wisconsin won that game on Saturday morning. Unbelievable game. Wisconsin shut the lights out of the ball, and Michigan lost its first game of the season. So no more undefeated ranks for Michigan, but they stay at number 4. Iowa State 2, UConn 3, Purdue stays at 5. Nebraska keeps on rising up, and Vanderbilt as well, too, also undefeated teams. So Arizona, Nebraska, Vanderbilt, Michigan no longer undefeated. Miami of Ohio, shout out to the Miami of Ohio Redhawks and a proud alum. My dad went there, so big shout out to his Miami of Ohio Redhawks, who are 17-0. Very cool story for them as well. Let's see, who are still the undefeated teams? So you got Arizona, Nebraska, Vanderbilt, Miami of Ohio, and Iowa State. So yeah, so 5 undefeated teams remain with Michigan not there anymore. So the two best undefeateds are 1 and 2. But the other 2 power conference teams that are undefeated are Nebraska and Vanderbilt. They're both top 10. Illinois, after a very impressive 2-0 week, they jump up to 13. Had a very impressive win on the road at Iowa yesterday. Illinois won 5 straight after losing a heartbreaker on a buzzer beater to Nebraska. Florida's back in the rankings after a big win, a massive win over Tennessee on Saturday. Seton Hall cracks the rankings at 25. Seton Hall is one of the coolest stories in college basketball this year. They were terrible last year. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were picked to finish either second to last or third to last in the Big East this year. And they have just had this great year to this point. So Seton Hall cracks the rankings for the first time this season. Clemson's in there. Utah State's in there from the Mountain West. Clemson 22, Utah State 23. And other than that, not any crazy big changes going on. Duke 6, Houston 7, Nebraska 8, Gonzaga 9, Vanderbilt 10 to round out the top 10. But that's the new AP poll coming out. And last thing we'll do here on the podcast today is update you on the updated KenPom rankings, and we'll go through the top 10 and then just list some other key names that are still in there. So even though Michigan lost, they're still number 1 in KenPom with the best net rating out there of plus 35.95. And so Michigan still has the best defensive rating out there and the 7th best offensive rating out there. Arizona 2, Iowa State 3, Purdue 4, Vanderbilt 5 with the undefeated record, Gonzaga 6, Illinois 7, Duke 8, UConn 9, Houston 10, and then to round out some of the other ones in the top 30, One loss BYU is 11. Nebraska is undefeated is 17. Let's see. Utah State, who just cracked the rankings, they're 20 at 14-1. Great year so far for the Aggies. Haven't really been paying all that much attention to them so far this year. And then let's see. Georgia 28 with a couple losses. Arkansas is still ranked 30. So yeah, and the highest ranked team who has 5 losses actually is Florida at 12. So I mean, Florida, Florida's lost some really tough games. I mean, the most recent loss was a loss on the road to Missouri, which got them out of the rankings, but they're back in after a nice week for them. So even though they got 5 losses, they're still the 12th best team in the country according to KenPom, which isn't surprising. Alabama also has 5 losses; they're 14, and then St. John's with 5 losses. Even though they've kind of had an off year so far to this point, but they're still number 18 in KenPom. And Tennessee with 5 losses, number 19. So yeah, also another thing to mention in the new AP poll is that Kansas is no longer ranked once again, but they have a big game coming up this week. I believe it's Tuesday night. They host Iowa State, so that's going to be a fun one to watch this week. But yeah, that's going to do it for our show this week. Thank you for tuning in to Noteworthy in the NCAA. Once again, I'm Will Charlton, and we'll catch you back here next Monday right before the College Football Playoff National Championship.